I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, April the 25th, brought to you in part by Vitalix. Not all tubs are created equal. Vitalix has 44 different kinds of tubs to cover all of your needs. Vitalix wants to give away free tubs to Feeder Flash gang members. If you're watching this on NationalBeefWire, click on the Vitalix ad that is close to this video. And if you're watching this on YouTube, go down into the descriptions and click on Vitalix there. Get more information about how you can register to win a free Vitalix tub. Get the blue tub. Your cows will love you. For more information, go to Vitalix.com. Also, Unionville Livestock Market in north central Missouri and Creston Livestock Markets in south central Iowa. Both of those sales had big, successful, impressive replacement cow or bred heifer pair sales last week, and just very impressive, both of those sales. And then they had a big sale at Creston, very successful special feeder cattle and weaned calf sale on Wednesday. But at Unionville this Tuesday, they're going to be having a regular calf and yearling sale, but it's going to be bigger probably than most. 1,700 head expected. It's going to be on April the 29th here on Tuesday, the regular sale day. That they've got some impressive consignments there, including the Rock and R consignment. They're going to have 310 head there. You know how well they sell and how the buyers go after them. They background them, but they don't implant them. And they leave a lot of good in them. Those cattle really feed, and that's why the buyers go to them. But they'll be weighing from 8.5 to 875, and so that's one that will draw a lot of attention. Fernandez outfit's got 180 heifers weighing 7 to 750 pounds, and then they've got numerous slightly smaller consignments of fancy calves consigned to this sale coming up on Tuesday at Unionville Livestock Market. The next big special at Creston, Iowa is going to be Wednesday, May the 14th, so mark your calendars for that. Wholesale beef is lagging. Now, we've of course gone on, and we talk about it every day, how all classes of live cattle, feeder cattle and calves, even bred cow or weigh-up cows, they're not quite to all-time record highs, and bulls, but they're getting closer up there. But we've been talking about how good our commercial cattle have been selling, and we're at all-time highs on calves and yearlings, of course. And then our retail beef in the stores, it's at all-time highs, way higher than even during COVID. Like 13.5% higher than when we were at the extreme highs of COVID. And that's not that long ago. You remember when the housewives were fighting over a pound of hamburger and how they were gouging on them there. We've surpassed that by a long shot. But our box beef, our wholesale dressed beef is lagging behind. Now, I smell a rat there somewhere, guys. We know that some of your big four are also at the retail level in there, and we know that they can manipulate the price on box beef cutout values easier than they can anything. They basically put out a price list, and their buyers just take what they want off of it. But those are for spot market immediate needs. Most all of your wholesale beef is contracted way out front. So that's not included on our box beef cutout values that everybody pays so much attention to. That's only your spot trade, like right now. And it seems like your packers could raise the prices on that. It's basically a menu that the buyers buy what they want, but they don't. The market's always depressed on that, and I think people are paying too much attention to that because it's really something that they come up with there, And just like anything else that they do with USDA, they report what they want to report, and USDA doesn't really audit very well. It's just like your mandatory price reporting. You know, they're supposed to get all that stuff in real timely, and sometimes they lag behind when it benefits them. And supposedly they were going to fall under a $10,000 penalty per reporting, and it's never happened. They've never been penalized, so I don't think they have too much to worry about there. But it's just kind of frustrating that the market that we see anyway, the box beef cutout values, the wholesale dressed beef market there is lagging. And like I said, I don't think it doesn't jibe. Whenever you look at your cost of your fed cattle, the prices that these feedlots are given for the yearlings, a lot of these feedlots are being financed by the big packers, and then the retail price all way up here, and then box beef market they're slagging behind. But of course, it's going to have something to do with our export prices. And with everything that's been going on, we know that our exports are going to be down, with the tariffs and all that. But for your outstanding export sales current right now, we are down 11% compared to a year ago. I thought it would be worse than that. That come out on the daily livestock report. Only 11% down on our U.S. beef exports there. Of course, China's down big. They've only done about 30% of the business last week. They only did about 30% of the business that they would normally do, but I thought it would be shut completely off. Now, any further outstanding orders that China had for beef are likely going to be canceled, because with retaliatory tariffs, the tariff that they are placing on our beef now is 172%. Whoa, nobody's going to pay that. But it seemed like kind of a coincidence that our shipments to Hong Kong were up a bunch. Now, I think that China is running Hong Kong, so I wonder what it would take for that beef to get to Hong Kong and then go over to China. So, I don't know. Just stuff that I see happening out there. But let's talk about your board for Thursday. April live cattle futures up 80 cents at 213.50. June down 10 cents at 208. Your back months were all up from 22 cents higher to 60 cents higher. Your cattle futures did post life of contract highs on Wednesday, so if you remember that. May feeder cattle up 72 cents at 289.07. August up 52 cents at 292.70. Back months on feeder cattle up 40 cents to up 67. Look at your grains. May corn was up 5 1/4 cents a bushel at 477 1/4. Beans up 12 3/4 cents at 1053. And hard red winter wheat for May was unchanged at 537 3/4. You never see your Kansas City hard red winter wheat unchanged. It's usually volatile, but that's the way it was on Thursday. Fat cattle trade, we still haven't seen any trade at all. So I like that. And we're getting in here, guys, to put it all the way off to Friday. Of course, your packers are hoping that the board tanks, because it's been pretty friendly all week. They're hoping that it tanks on Friday and they'll be able to buy cattle steady or not too much higher. But the market's going to be higher. But they haven't. But your cattle feeders haven't succumbed to lower bids for the most part. A few weak sisters in there. There's one outfit that in Kansas sold a pretty long string, over 2,100 head of heifers in Kansas at 210. Most everybody else asking 215. We saw a little bit of trade at 213 already earlier this week, so why would you take 210? But somebody did. And other than that, we didn't see any trade at all out of your direct feedlot areas in the 5 area. So it's going to be an interesting Friday here. It's been a wild week in your auctions and a wild week with those feedlots trying to get pens filled up. And so they're going to play hardball. And like I said, the Packers are waiting for the board to be lower on Friday, and they may even help it out, getting lower to try to get cattle bought on Friday. But guys, stick to your guns. They need your cattle desperately. We did have some reports surface. I don't know if they were rumors or actual reports, but did say that another major is planning on going to just 3 days a week. That's fine if they go to 3 days a week. We're short of cattle anyway. Somebody else will take up the slack. But the heck of it is, those packing houses have contracts to fill with beef, similar to what I was talking about on your wholesale dressed market. They're just showing the spot trade. That's just a hand-to-mouth trade. Most all of their sales are way out front. They've got to have the beef, and they're going to have to be open. They're going to have to slaughter the cattle to get it. So they can keep putting out those threats and those rumors as much as they want. Box beef cutout values were a little bit higher. Of course, been talking about how they haven't been showing the full market there, but they were a little bit higher on Thursday, with choice cuts up 173 at 330, 370. We're likely going to see fat cattle bring 340 dressed, and choice cuts are sitting at 330, 370. See, that doesn't make sense. Selects up 183 at 316.35. Your slaughter, 466,000 through the first 4 days of the week. That's 11,000 less than the same point last week, 25,000 less than the same point a year ago. Your actual slaughter information come back for the week ending April the 12th. Had your average dressed steer carcass weight at 946 pounds. That's actually down 3 pounds from the same report a week ago, up 24 pounds from the same report a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. Livestock Risk Services. Check out all the agents here that work with Dakota Moss. Of course, all in and around Oklahoma there on every side. And if you guys see one of them that you know, even if you don't, if you see somebody there that's in your area, they are a professional, and then they are busy doing LRPs every day. They can answer any question that you have. Be glad to do it. Livestock Risk Services is your LRP specialist, and of course Dakota Moss there that heads it up. He's right there in the exchange building at the Oklahoma National Stockyards. But for more information, go to livestockriskservices.com. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market. Brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance. They are working to protect your livelihood. Your real-time index on DVAuction late in the day on Thursday, after all your sales had concluded, was sitting at 293.95, almost 294. Now, I projected that they'll get to $300 here shortly, but up 158 on Thursday. So they're gaining, guys. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index was actually down a little bit. Of course, you remember RTI was down, and it's always lagging a day or day and a half behind. So latest CME cash feeder cattle index 287.24. Let's talk about your big sales on Thursday. Winter livestock in Pratt, Kansas had 3,800 head. The market was hard to read by the federal state market reporters there. They don't do a very good job in Kansas, but did appear that they called it as much as $10 higher in several different classes there. But really good sale. The stick out sale that I saw in Pratt was 47 head of thin flesh steers, weighed 805 and bring 311.75. I think that may be an all-time record on light 8-weight steers. Of course, if they were that thin, that would be the answer to that, but still it happened. Let's talk about a big sale that happened on Thursday. Stockman's Livestock Exchange in Dickinson, North Dakota. They had almost 6,000 head. It's very dry up there. It's wet so many places in the lower Midwest and even in the southern plains and all around, but you get way up there in the northern plains and it is dry up there around Dickinson, North Dakota. The market was sharply higher. They hadn't had a good test for a while. It was mostly grazing cattle, and man did they sell. I talked to John Fisher, he's my buddy there. I talked to him a time or two on Thursday, and he said, he knew it was going to be good. I said, how? He said, it's better than I thought it was. And said, everybody's just coming in after they get their check and saying how happy that they are because their cattle brought so much more than they expected. But was your National Beef Wire Stickout Sale of the day. And check out this automated marker report through Cattle Market Central, and you see the best tested weights. How about 620 head of the 5-weight steer calves? They average 555 with a weighted average price of 5-weight steers with an average weight over 5.5, and the weighted average price on all 620 of them was $400.93 a hundred. Whoa! How about 981 head of 6-weight steers, average 646, weighted average price 364.15. 492 head of the 7-weight steers, and most of them would be stalker types. They average 735 with a weighted average price of 324.26. How about your heifers? They had a lot of heifers there, guys, and some of them did go for replacements. Not the big strings of them like we have seen before, but several packages in there did sell as replacements. But they had 1,211 head of 5-weight heifers. They averaged 550 at 354.10. You think maybe some of these heifers that came in were some that had originally been planned to keep back, and then the market got so good, here they come? Probably so. 1,094 head of 6-weight heifers, average 640 pounds at 326.46, and 477 head of 7-weight heifers. Stockman's Livestock Exchange in Dickinson, North Dakota, DVAuction broadcaster, they had a weighted average weight of 747, weighted average price of $294.52. Give you several individual quotes from all around. One from one of my favorite people, my old buddy Barry Bose, that he and I drank more beer together than it would take to float a battleship. I think all the years I was around St. Joe stockyards there, but he and I are really good friends, and he's commissioning cattle into 3 state stockyards in Falls City, Nebraska. And I had the Hubert Gregory steers in there. I've seen them sell a jillion times. Glad to hear Hubert's still doing well, and background in cattle there. They sold 61 steers, weighed 819 and bring 295. Good sale there. How about Enid Livestock Market? Dakota Davis, I tell you what, he's got that mausoleum going there, and he's doing a good job up there at that impressive facility there. He's the only one been able to get it to go. More power to him, guys. He's got that thing running on all cylinders. 109 head of 803-pound steers at the Enid Livestock Market in Enid, Oklahoma, bring 298. How about out east at Paris Stockyards in Paris, Kentucky? They had a load of 671-pound steers, good condition on them, all black, 360, weighing 671 through the ring in Paris, Kentucky, guys. Put wheels under those. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Thursday in your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, indeed come out of Stockman's Livestock Exchange in Dickinson, North Dakota. It was the Roberts Ranch from Wybo, Montana. And it was 59 head of them, weighed 571 and bring $4 a pound. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.